Hey, my name is Keenan Price with 2x Profit, and you're watching this right now, presumably because you just completed your profit leak detector assessment, and it told you that you have a systems or an operational profit leak. And I'm here to help you fix that. Now, I've been a service-based entrepreneur for 14 years now, and I've worked in dozens of industries across that time. I helped co-found a medical clinic, I did a marketing agency, I've done event decorating, I've done a landscaping company, I've done a lot of things. So I have a lot of experience doing that. And one of the things that I found out I'm really good at is operations. I get shit done, and I do it well, and I do it fast. And one of the better things is that I've learned how to teach other people how to replicate my results so I can step out of doing whatever task I don't want to do anymore. Now, one of my portfolio companies I talk about from time to time, I started 3.5 years ago. It's a service-based company. It was doing $0 a month in revenue our first month. And today it's doing over $500,000 every single month in revenue. And it's growing like crazy. It will keep doing more and more. This year it will pay me over 7 figures in profit. It's currently paying me 6 figures a month in profit. It's really nice. And the best part is I work 3 to 5 hours a week on that business. And those 3 to 5 hours are things that I want to do. So if I didn't want to do those, I could even get those off my plate and just disappear forever. And my team would never know where I went. And the business would keep growing, which is good. And a lot of entrepreneurs, when they start a business, they want to make more money and have more freedom, but most entrepreneurs end up with neither of those, and I think it's really sad. So I want to help you fix that. Now, quick note as well, a lot of times entrepreneurs that have an operations or system bottleneck or profit leak, they also have a founder-dependent business. So if you feel like your business needs you to survive, and if you were to disappear, your business would come crumbling down, make sure to watch the video about a founder profit leak as well. Founder dependency profit leak, sorry. Now, one thing I want to talk to you about, or one principle I like sharing, is there's a saying that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So if you have a chain of like 20 links and you pull really hard, it's going to break at the weakest link. There's always one weakest link. The whole chain isn't just going to like shatter at once. There's always one place where that chain breaks. Now, your business is nothing more than a chain comprised of a bunch of different links. Sorry, not leaks. So you have sales, marketing, let's say onboarding, fulfillment, say back office. So finance, HR, hiring, training, all that stuff, right? Now, it might feel like your business has a few different leaks in it or a few different weak links, but I promise you there's only one weakest link. Now, if you want to grow a company fast, like I did, and you want to really master this whole ops thing, you need to learn how to find the weak link in your business chain. So let's say, we got it. Oops, actually, those should be reversed. Marketing should be over there. Sales is there. So we'll have sales, marketing. Okay, my weak link is handwriting, apparently. So let's say we go in and we assess our business and we realize that this is where our weak link is. Well, we want to put all of our effort and our team's energy. Obviously, we still have to run the business. We're not going to be like, hey, everyone's a salesperson today. Shut everything down, right? But you as the entrepreneur, you're kind of the coach that goes into the different components of your business. And you want to put all of your effort into solving this bottleneck or this profit leak. The reason being that when you solve this, your business as a whole gets stronger, and then there is another weakest link. So then you go and you find that. And then you solve that. Say it's an onboarding. And then you solve that, and then it goes to back office. You need more people. You solve that. You figure out how to build better hiring systems, and you go do better marketing, and then you just bounce around. And that's what I've done to get my business from $0 a month to $500,000 per month, paying me 7 figures a year in profit in just 3.5 years. I just ping pong between these different weak links and fix them. But the most important thing is when you figure out how to fix the link, you want to document what you did to fix it. So one thing at my portfolio company, my team is obsessed with documentation. Matter of fact, each month, I highly recommend you doing this in your business, by the way, we have an all-hands meeting where we sit down together, we review our company's mission, vision, and values, discussion for another time, but implementing those was a game changer. You have to do it the right way, though. Then we talk about our metrics for the past month. We hold ourselves accountable to our performance. And then we talk about our freaking awesome accomplishments that we've done. So we want to celebrate our wins. And then we talk about our lessons learned. So, those could be good lessons. So I learned if you do this, this great thing happens. Or if I do this, this bad thing happens, right? And then we have notable process changes. And then the last thing we do is things that we need to work on for the month ahead, right? So we do that framework every month. It's like clockwork. I have hundreds and hundreds of pages of these meetings now over the years. They're really cool. But we use that as a time to make sure our documentation is up to par. It's doing really good. And so now let's say, for example, I'll use my business, that portfolio company, because it's easier for me to talk about real life things. We just solved a hiring bottleneck. So we had a profit leak over here. And what would happen, I'm really good at marketing, by the way. I'm quite good at sales too, but I'm really good at marketing. So right here, draw a little heart because I love marketing. And so we had so many freaking leads that our team could not take care of them. Now the problem is because we had so many freaking leads, whenever we brought a new hire into the business system, it was just chaos. They were super overwhelmed. They'd eventually quit, and they'd eventually, then that would just put more work on the rest of the team, and they'd feel frazzled. It was really hard. And I'd throw money at people to try to keep them there. I'd try to do cool bonus plans, and I just couldn't keep anybody. And so hiring it's a hard thing to do, right? And so I went and I got some help from some mentors. I believe it's important for all of us to have mentors. If you want to get somewhere fast, learn from someone who's done it before. But I went and found a mentor, and he gave me some pointers on hiring. And she actually had a male and a female mentor. But what we ended up doing to fix this leak is we said, okay, the problem is that we bring these people on, we spend all this time and money interviewing them, and I had to interview them too, so that was another problem, is my time was limited, and I didn't want to work that much. And the last round of interviews I did, I had 55 phone calls over a 3-day period, and it was talking about the same damn thing, and I freaking hated it, right? I didn't want to do that. And then we have to do this like every month because people keep quitting because we keep bringing in the wrong hires. So we took a step back. We said, okay, what is the problem? So we analyzed the components of the problem, right? So one of them is too much, too fast. One is too much time. One is poor fits, right? And there's some other things, comp, because it really sucks to pay someone's compensation while they're learning, only to know they'll statistically quit in 2 months. And so we said, okay, how can we solve each of these problems one by one? And so the first thing that we ended up doing is we created a junior role within the company. So we used to plug a new person into the same lead flow. We wouldn't give them as much, but they would deal with all the different customer segments as our experienced people. And what we ended up doing is we actually gave them one segment of customers. So instead of 5, they only had one segment they had to focus on. And that segment also happened to be kind of the worst leads. And the reason we gave them the worst leads is because, as a mentor of mine pointed out, and it was a little embarrassing, it took me this long to figure this out, it's really stupid to give your best leads to your newest people that don't know what the hell they're doing. So we started giving them our worst leads that have the lowest chances of closing, and then we let them learn on the worst leads, and as they got better, we started giving them better leads, better clients, right? So that was the first thing. Instead of them having to learn 5 customer segments, they only learned 1. This was a massive help for attrition. And then people entered the job, and after 2 weeks, they felt pretty confident. They're like, I get this, I can do this, I can grow more. And then people started progressing. Next thing took too much time. Said, okay, I analyzed, why does this take too much time, right? So I broke it down. Like, okay, first thing, I was phone calling everybody. So phone calls, not really a good way to scale that up. So that sucked. The next thing, same questions, right? So same conversation. The next thing is we had to go through too many of candidates, or number of candidates. It's like to hire one person, we had to go through 300 or 400 applications. Really sucked. So what we ended up doing here is we ended up creating a series of videos that they had to watch before they could apply. And the reason is because I'm like, okay, someone that's getting on Indeed and just clicking easy apply, I don't want them in my company because they're not going to stay, because I have data showing that they don't stay. So I want to force them to go through a gauntlet, so to speak. And some people, you'll lose good talent. Some people are like, I'm not going to play the games. But I have 2 videos. One's 7 minutes, and it's about the culture of my team. And the next one is about 9 minutes, and it's about the company. And in the second video, or sorry, not the company, the job role. In the second video, I talked about the job role and everything it entailed, so I didn't have to have the same conversation over and over. And I gave a code word, and this code word was obvious. It flashed on the screen. It's like, Everest is the code word. Write this down. You'll need it in your interview. And then what I did is part of the application process on Indeed or LinkedIn or whatever, I'm like, hey, what's the code word? If they didn't know what the code word was or they made it up, I just disregarded their application. That helped me to get through so many candidates, because I only want to talk to people if they want to talk to me. If they're just spam applying for jobs, I don't give a shit. Go work for someone else. You're not for me. Turned out that also fixed the poor fits issue, right? So that was pretty cool, because it turns out that if you watch a video of me talking for 15 minutes, you will either hate me or love me, but nothing in between. So you're either like, yes, I want to go into this company, or no, I don't. And so that solved that problem. And then the comp, we actually, because this was a junior role, we paid them less, but we told them, as soon as you hit these metrics, we'll promote you to the same thing that the big people are doing. That solved it. Now, I don't do any part of this process. My team now handles it all. It took me 2 months to set up this process. It was arguably one of the hardest processes to set up in my business, but it's completely off my plate. So that's one approach to solving the process. Is you look at the problem, you break the problem down to the core components, and you look at how you solve the components individually. Now there are other processes as well. So let's just say that we're an HVAC technician. We have an HVAC company or whatever it is, right? Now you're probably pretty good at whatever you do. Statistically, most people that start a service-based business, they're good at the thing that their business sells. That's why they started it. So let's just say, for example, we own an HVAC company, right? And I'm the world's best HVAC air conditioning repair person, right? I have no one can do it as good as me. Well, what's going to happen is eventually, if you do business right, you will get to the point where your calendar is fully booked and you can't focus on the other functions of your business. So what we need to do is we need to get somebody in your place doing your job of repairing the HVAC stuff so you can step out and focus on these other functions. And so what you want to do is you want to figure out what's the best path or best way, I guess, way to do the task, right? And so as you go out on your route, start thinking about this. Or as you have your clients come into your office or whatever, think about this. What do I say when they come in? Why did I say that? Do I do it every time or is it sometimes? How much time do I spend with them? What tools do I use? What tools do I bring? Do I need the tall ladder, the short ladder? Do I record my calls? Do I not? Everything that you do, you want to figure out why you do it, what are the steps that you're actually doing, right? So you figure out the best way to do the task, identify the steps. So you want to write those steps down. Now, eventually, so let's just say that you're going to do this process, 10 times. And every time you do the process, you're going to go in with the idea or the intention that you're trying to document this process. You're trying to create a recipe. And your goal is after 10 times of doing this, you want to be able to hand someone a piece of paper and you want them to be able to replicate your results, right? So you're going to go in, you're going to do the thing you do, repair the HVAC machine, whatever it is, and you're going to get this list of steps. Now, that's kind of the first thing. Once you do that, the next thing you're going to do is you are going to try to do the job following only these steps. So once you have that, you or whoever works for you or whatever, you do the job, do the task. So you do the job, but the trick is you can't do anything that's not written in your steps. This will force you to audit how good of a job you did creating these steps, and it will help you find the missing gaps, right? So do the thing 10 times, write it down, then do the thing 10 more times, only following the recipe that you wrote down. Once you write it down, you're going to then give it to someone else on your team or hire someone, and they do it 10 times, and you monitor it. Then after they do it 10 times and you monitor it, if there's anything that needs to be improved, you fix it. But if they can do it 10 times without your help, but you're monitoring it, then you send them out 10 times by themselves without you even there. And if they get the consistent results, you've just worked yourself out of that task. And so in business, your business chain has a bunch of links. You go in, you find the bottleneck or the profit leak or the biggest problem in your business chain. You figure out the best way to do it. You make a recipe. You follow the recipe yourself. Once the recipe's good, you give it to someone else and you watch them do it. And once they can do it, you stop watching them and you have them do it without your help. And you make sure they can keep the task going on. So with hiring, going back to my business, we just led a round of, actually we did 2 back-to-back rounds of hiring, and it was like hell. Usually we space them out like a few weeks or a month or so. This time we just did back-to-back, and we will not do that again. It was rough. Not for every business, but for my business, it was really atrocious. But the manager, the first hiring round, I said, okay, I want you to do this, and I get final sign-off on the candidates. So I spent this time documenting the process, going through the problems. I wrote all the steps down, did all the things. I made the videos so she didn't have to. And then, the videos obviously are scalable. We can use them forever if we want. It doesn't take any more of my time. And then I said, great, I want the final approval of the candidates. The next time around, I said, I want you to go through the full process. You give me the final selection, and then I'll just confirm your choice. And she gave me the final candidates. I said, yep, looks good. She hired them, and they're crushing it. So it's really cool to see how fast this happens. Now, the cool thing is I'm completely out of hiring in my business now. Completely out of it. It's one of my least favorite things in the world. It took me 2 months to get out of it, but I'm out. And now, when we need more employees, we just run the recipe. We run the blueprint, right, that we went and created. So going back to operations and systems bottlenecks in your business, whatever it is, whether it's sales or doing the thing you do or hiring people or back office functions or wrapping up the books at the end of the month or running your marketing campaigns, there's a process that you follow to get success. Now, hopefully the process is somewhat consistent. Some people are all over the place, in which case you want to get the process as consistent as possible, because you'll never be able to successfully teach someone to do what you do or to be like you if you can't get it down to a consistent recipe, right? An analogy I always use on my team, it's like baking a cake. I don't want to tell the team, hey, put some cake batter and some eggs and some sprinkles and stuff in a bowl and put it in the oven and take it out. That's not going to be helpful. You want to say, get the box of this brand of cake, this kind, open it up, use scissors, cut the top off, pour it into a mixing bowl, crack 2 eggs in a separate bowl, then pour them into the thing, then beat them with a whisk or whatever, then put the milk in or whatever, then put them in, preheat the oven to 350 degrees, then you put the thing in and you put the timer for 20 minutes. The more detailed you can get in your process, and the better you can train people to do it, the more consistent you can be, the more consistent your results will be. And the thing about scaling a business, so this portfolio company, I used to do, like, I have a lot of industry experience in this business. Okay, so for years I did it kind of as a one-person thing. This is a long time ago, and then 3.5 years ago I changed the model and I wiped the slate clean and I completely restarted. Right, and so I was really good at doing the business, and for about 6 months I did every part of the business myself. Actually 3 months, and I offloaded a couple of things, but more or less for 3 months, 6 months, I was doing everything myself. And I was documenting the processes. And then I figured out, okay, the first thing I need to take off my plate is sales. And then it became onboarding. And then it was fulfillment. And then eventually I got out of marketing. And then I was only in back office. And then I got out of that. And now like my time is like this much in back office and like occasionally in marketing. That's kind of what my role in the company is now. And that's just because I enjoy it. But as I was working the day-to-day of the business, my entire goal was to find a repeatable process that I could document, teach to someone else, and get off my plate entirely. And I did this over and over and over, anytime an obstacle popped up. Matter of fact, the last thing I did, there's a report that I run. I enjoy running it because it helps me see how the business is performing and identify any problems in the business financially. I decided that I'm probably about 2 months away from being done with that. And so I just documented this process. And so now, for the next 2 months, I'm going to be following my recipe. And if it's not on the recipe, I can't do it. And so I think the recipe's there. It's ready now. So I'm going to do it 2 more months, and I'm going to hand it off to the manager, and I'll never do that process again. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you have a business that you have more demand than you can handle and your team's overworked, this is likely the path to get you out of there. I don't know what your specific pain point is in the business, but I promise you that if you follow this process of you do it or whoever's on your team that's the best at it does it, you model that behavior, you turn it into a recipe, they do it following the recipe, then you have someone else take the recipe, then eventually they're doing it without any supervision or whatever, that will most likely get you out of the problem. Now, I want to tell you about something that I think is really cool. So obviously when we create like the profit leak detector assessment, we had to make it so it was applicable to most businesses. But the problem with doing that is it's not very specific. Now, I want to invite you to look into our 2x profit audit. This is one of the most helpful things that we can do for you when it comes to fixing your profit leaks and ideally 2xing your profit in 12 months or less. What the 2x profit audit is, it's where my team goes and does a deep dive into the core business functions in your business. So we look at your entire business chain and we're trying to find the weak links. So we're going to go through your website, we're going to go through customer reviews, we're going to look at your pricing, your packaging, your ad campaigns, we're going to look at your competitors, what are they doing, what are you not doing. We might even ghost shop you. We might even buy your product, or we might call in and see what your phones or what your team says on the phone, or if you guys even answer the phone, or how long does it take to get back to us. We'll do a full deep dive into your business. We'll then find the weakest points in your business and we'll present those to you along with a plan on what you can do to fix them to get out from under your bottlenecks. So for example, we have this hiring problem. A lot of people do. If we were to do an audit on my portfolio company, we would have came up with this solution. We would have presented that to you as the business owner, like, hey, this is how we advise you solve this problem. It's pretty awesome. Now, what's in it for us? Well, to be totally transparent, we believe in giving away the secrets and selling the implementation. So our team, we're phenomenal at ops. Like I said, I'm really good at ops as well. We get shit done, we get it done right, we get it done really fast. And we know a lot of business owners are not good at ops, and we know that once they see the audit plan that we have for them, and once they learn more about us and our methodology for doing business and hear about some of our case studies, they will want to hire us to go in their business and actually fix these bottlenecks, fix their broken systems and their broken ops, and get their business back on track. So that's why we do this for free, so we can build goodwill with you as the business owner. And then if you want help and you love our plan, you can talk to us about what it's like to pay us to actually make this stuff happen. So if that sounds like something that would help your business, having my team of experts and myself to go in with the fine-tooth comb and look for your profit leaks, figure out how we can fix them, and to give you a clear, presentable plan that you can use to either fix the leaks yourself if you want, or you can hire my team to fix them for you if you believe in the plan. yeah, go ahead and apply now. Now, I will say we don't accept every business that applies. We can only do a handful of these per week just because they do take so much time from my team. So we're really looking for the businesses that we can help the most. So if you apply, we'll let you know regardless within 24 hours if we can help you or not. But if we can't help you, it's because we think, or if we do offer to help you, it's because we think we can make a big difference in your business, helping you to fix some of these operational profit leaks that you have.